Once upon a time, in a remote mountain monastery, there lived two monks who had taken a vow of celibacy and had committed themselves to a life of simplicity and meditation. One day, as they were walking by a river on their way back to the monastery, they saw a young woman struggling to cross the fast-flowing water. She seemed frightened and unable to proceed. Without hesitation, the older of the two monks picked up the woman and carried her across the river, placing her safely on the other side. The woman thanked him and continued on her way. The two monks resumed their journey back to the monastery, but the younger monk was visibly disturbed. He couldn't believe that his senior had broken their vow by touching a woman, even if it was to help her. He carried this unease in silence for hours. Finally, as they approached the monastery, the younger monk couldn't contain his feelings any longer. He said, "Brother, I must ask you something. We have taken a vow not to touch women, and yet you picked up that woman and carried her across the river. How could you do that?" The older monk smiled kindly and replied, "My dear brother, I put that woman down by the riverbank. Why are you still carrying her in your heart?" The younger monk realized the profound wisdom in his senior's words. He had allowed his fixation on the past action to cloud his present thoughts, just as he had held onto his judgment without recognizing the true intent of his senior's compassionate act. The story teaches us that holding on to judgments and grudges prevents us from fully experiencing the present moment. The older monk's action wasn't a violation of his vow, but rather an act of selfless kindness. Sometimes we need to let go of our preconceived notions and be open to the reality of the situation. Just as the younger monk needed to release his judgment, we too should learn to put down the metaphorical burdens we carry and live in the present with a clear and open heart.